Let's come into a standing position then. Oh, I just need to angle my camera around. There we go. So let's find that correct in standing position. So feet roughly about hip width apart, and just gently looking down at your toes, making sure that they're facing towards the screen and not 10 to 2. Arms down by the side, and just imagining your head just resting on top of your rib cage, on top of your pelvis. And whilst we're standing here, I want you to feel your tailbone drop a little bit and just start to lengthen up through each vertebra all the way out the crown of your head. I'm just going to take a few breaths here. And while we're breathing in through the nose, just start to feel that little connection in the deep abdominals, that little lift, that little zipping up. So it's not a pushing out, it's a sort of like you're pushing your belly button slightly towards the back of your spine. Good. We're going to start to take both arms up, floating them up to the ceiling. And as they come up, I want you to think about your shoulders coming down the backs of the ribs. And then floating them back down. So the arms are slightly in front of the body. And as we lift, I want you to think about that little zipping up through your center again. Good. Let's add the breath. So we breathe in as we float those arms up. Soft ribs, exhaling, coming back down. A few more, breathing in. And breathing out. Letting away all that stress, all that tension. Breathing in. And breathing out. Good. On the next one, we're going to take our arms all the way up. Bend your elbows, drawing your hands behind the head now. Keep your elbows slightly on your peripheral vision. Shoulders down the back. Good. We're going to shrug those shoulders up and exhaling them lower back down. Then we'll reach those arms all the way forward and float back. Let's do that 2 more times. So we breathe in. Exhaling, bending those elbows, drawing those shoulders down. And then we breathe in as we shrug those shoulders up. Exhale, lower. Breathing in, reach those arms forward. And exhaling, floating back down. Last one, breathing in. And exhaling, bending those elbows. Breathing in. Exhaling. Reaching up. And floating back down again. Good. Let's just open those feet out a little bit wider now. So they're roughly a little wider than hips. Still zipping up through that center. We've got the ribs over hips connection. And we're going to go with our left arm. We're going to breathe in as we float it up. Watch that shoulder. And then as you exhale, let's flex over. Staying lovely and long on both sides of the waist. And then we breathe in. Exhale, lower that arm down with control. Other side. So we breathe in. And then we exhale as we flex over. Breathe in. And lower. Other side again. So we breathe in, float that arm. And then we let the spine take the arm over. So we're not actually moving the shoulder. Keep zipping up through that center, imagining pushing the belly button slightly back. And float back down. Other side, always making sure we're nice and even. Flexing over. Breathe in. Exhale. And release. Good. Just start to walk those feet back to being about hip width apart, coming into some rotation now. So I want you to come into some Cossack arms, elbows slightly lower than the shoulders. I want you to imagine about your hips staying forward. So we're coming into rotation. Little breath in, exhaling, gently going over to the left. Now as you're turning to the left, don't lock your knees and keep your pelvis forward. It's quite easy for the whole thing to come with us, so we don't want to do that. And then we're going to come back to center. Other side, breath in, exhaling. Gentle little rotation. Keep your nose in line with your breastbone. Coming back to center. 2 more on each side. Exhaling on the movement, zipping up through that center. Don't lock your knees. Back, good. You can always rest your arms if you need to in between sets. Rotating. Coming back. Last one. exhaling. Breathing in back to center. And then exhaling. Breathing in back to center. And then just let those arms loose. Roll those shoulders twice. And then we're just going to come into a quick roll down. So this is where I'm going to show you onto the side. So we just do a gentle little tuck of the chin first. And then as we flex that spine forward, I want you to scoot that belly slightly back. And start to let the weight slightly go over the arches. Keep your knees soft for a moment. Just let the neck be free of tension and let the arms just hang in the shoulder joint. Just circle a few times. Go in the other way. And then on your next exhale, just start to lift those ribs away from your toes. Scoop the belly and just restack that spine, bone by bone by bone. The head coming up last. And let's do that 2 more times, trying to go nicely in the center. So we breathe in, we exhale, we tuck that chin first, and we flex the spine forward like we're going over a ball. Keep that little zip up through your center. Weight slightly over the arches of your feet without lifting your heels. And then on your next exhale, soft knees as you scoop your spine all the way back up, bone by bone by bone. Head comes up last. 1 more of these, if these feel okay for you. Breath in, breath out, tuck the chin. Scoop the belly. Roll that spine all the way down. Just make sure the neck is free of tension. Just give it a little shake. Let the arms hang loose. And then exhaling, coming all the way back up. Restacking that spine. With the head last. And then you're just going to turn those palms to face forward. Let's reach those arms up 1 last time, all the way up. Drop those shoulders down, breathe in. And then exhaling, float. Back down, well done. So we're going to come down onto our mat. We're just going to do a little bit of 4-point kneeling first. I'm just going to angle my camera down. So just very carefully, just coming down onto your knees into what we call the 4-point kneeling position. So we'd like roughly your hands to be underneath your shoulders and your knees to be underneath your hips. Now just set those shoulders away so we're not hunched. We're pushing through the floor and I've got that zip up through my center and the pelvic floor. So imagining you're sort of pushing that belly button slightly back. Even weight through the front and just looking down at the creases in your elbows, just making sure that they're facing each other and they're not sticking out. The spine is staying nice and long. And we're just going to start to breathe in as we just allow the weight to slightly come over our wrists, but we're not moving our spine. And then we're drawing it back. So we're rocking backwards and forwards. So the hips are moving, but we're not moving our spine here. So as you come forward, I want you to think about those abdominals just having to connect a little bit more. And then rock back. Just breathing in and breathing out. And at any point, you can just come off your wrists, have a little stretch here, just release the shoulders. Otherwise, we're going to do this again. Shoulders set away, head is nice and high. And then we're just going to start to shift left and right. So really good strengthening for our wrists. Just keep those shoulders down the back, keep the neck long. And then we'll just do a few little circles. Keep breathing. Other way. And then coming off your wrists, stretch those hands out in front of you. Just let the tummy go, let the chest go. Just taking a few breaths in your child's pose, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. And then walking your hands to your knees, start to roll yourself back up onto your knees. And this is where we're going to flip over and come onto our back now. So let's come down into the relaxation position. So lowering yourself, just resting yourself down. I'm going to use a little head cushion just so I've got a nice neck alignment. So if you use a cushion, that's absolutely fine. Just never make sure it's too big. About 1 inch is all you need. So whether you're on your bed, on your mat, I just want you to have your knees bent, your feet roughly about hip width apart, depending how comfortable that is for you. Arms down the side. And you're just going to take a moment here for your spine to relax, to lengthen, and to start to become aware of the 3 body weights, so the back of the head, the back of the rib cage, and the back of the pelvis. Taking a breath in through the nose, really deep and wide into the sides of the ribs. And then exhaling, just start to release all that air out the mouth. 2 more breaths. Breathing in and exhaling. And even though you're lying here, I want you to start to think about that little zip up through your center. So when I say a zip up, we're very much like you're trying to prevent things coming out the front and the back, like passing wind or needing a wee is usually the best way. So it's not a brace, it's not a squeeze, pushing out, it's just a little lift, sort of trying to just gently close those openings like you're trying to prevent yourself from having wind. Always makes everybody laugh, but it's the best way to visualize it. So let's just take our neck over to the right, coming into a little bit of neck rotation, just releasing any tension there. And then breathing in, coming back to center, exhaling, going over to the other side. Breathing in, 1 more, exhaling. Breathing in and exhaling. Good, bringing your head back to center, just lifting your right heel, coming into a single knee fold. Start to think about that zipping, don't bring that knee too far. And then lengthen that leg away, feel that zip up, having to go a little bit deeper. Single knee fold and lower back down. Other side, so lift the left heel, draw that knee in. Breathe in as you extend that leg away, keep knees roughly in line. Draw it back and lower it back down with control. Back to the other side. So exhale. Inhale as you reach that leg away, pointed toe. Feel that zip. Knee back in and lower. Back to the left. Breathe in. And lower. If you ever get lost with the breathing, just keep breathing. It's better than holding your breath, but 1 more set to go. So we breathe in, find that core stability. Draw the knee back in and lower. Last one, nice and even. Breathe in, knee fold and lower. Good. And then just let the pelvis go, just doing a few little wiggles. Just bring those feet, making sure they're not too far away or too close. We want a little tiny gap between the knee and the back of the thigh. We're going to come into our spine curls now. So I want you to think about drawing that tailbone towards your nose so you feel that release in the back. And then keep lifting your hips, opening them up as you draw the knees away, soften the ribs down, coming to about the base of your shoulders. This is where I lose my cushion so it's not too gathering in my neck. I need to breathe in here, hold, and then exhale, thinking about that tailbone still tucked so you feel each and every vertebra go back down into your mat, and then just relax the pelvis back. So if that feels okay, you're going to do that 2 more times. Breathe in, exhale, tuck that tailbone, open those hips, soften those ribs down, make sure those ears are away from the shoulders. Breathe in at the top, and then exhaling, coming back down, bone by bone, and release that pelvis at the bottom. Last one. We breathe in to prepare, and then we exhale. Little breath in at the top, and then exhale back down. Good, relaxing that pelvis. Now taking those arms all the way above your shoulders. Palms currently facing your knees. I want you to think about your breastbone here being really heavy into the mat. So as we take a quick breath in, on our exhale, you're going to reach those arms overhead. Zip up through your center. to avoid your chest wanting to just collapse and flare out. So we're having to use that tummy control. And breathe in, exhaling. 2 more like this. Breathing in and exhaling. Breathing in, exhaling. So whilst your arms go overhead and they're framing your head, just really thinking, keeping your ribs nice and heavy. Zip up through the center in your pelvic floor. Good. After you've done about 3, you're going to bring your arms back over chest. Turn the palms to face each other. Soft elbows as we open the arms out now. And close. Breathing in. And close. Last one. Breathing in. And close. Turn the palms and lower everything back down. Good. Let's bring our hands onto our hips. So again, this is really good for our stability. We want the pelvis to stay completely still and stable. So hands on hips. You're going to take a breath in, and as you exhale, you're going to start to open your right knee out. So let the thigh bone drop, but don't move your pelvis. So using your core stability to keep everything still. Hold here, and then close the knee back in. Other side. Exhaling. Zip up through your center. And then breathing in, coming back. 2 more to each side. Keeping that pelvis really, really stable. Good. Last set. Just letting that foot roll on the outer border. Thinking of the thigh bone moving in the hip side. Keeping our spine lovely and still. Our pelvis nice and grounded. Good. So once you've done a nice even amount, just draw both knees in towards the body, just lifting the tailbone and then letting it drop. And just circling those knees round a few times. And going the other way. And then place the feet back down, keeping them roughly about hip width. We're going to come into a double knee fold now. So let's take the right knee up into a tabletop and let the left one follow. Tummy's having to engage. Don't let the knees come in too far. So we're having to use our center to keep our legs here. Zipping up. And now we're going to start to come into toe tap. So breathe in as you lengthen that thigh bone away. And exhale, come back. Breathing in. Exhaling. Breathing in. Exhaling. Last one. Breathing in. Exhaling. Rest if you need to. Otherwise, we're going to extend the leg. Back in. Breathing in. Exhaling. Breathing in. Exhaling. Breathing in. Exhaling. Last set. Breathing in. Exhaling. Breathing in. Exhaling. Close those knees in towards the body. Just release those hips for a moment. Give yourself a little wiggle. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then lower those feet back down. Let's draw those hands behind the head now. Elbows in your peripheral vision, just dropping the shoulders down so they're not tucked up towards the ears. Now when you think about that, zipping up through the center, softening your breastbone down as we come into our curl-ups. So breathing in, exhaling, a little nod of the chin. Just gently flex the spine forward. A little zip, thinking about like you're trying to drop, keep hold of a penny right in between the pelvic floor and the deep abdominals. Breath in, exhaling. Try not to let those elbows collapse. We're going to do 5 more. Breathing in, exhaling. Keep that pelvis really grounded. Nice even weight through your feet. Really think about the connection of the big toe, the little toe, the center of the heel. Good. So let the head be heavy in the hands, but don't be pulling the neck up. If this is too much, you can just bring yourself back down and carry on with some toe taps. Otherwise, I'm going to finish our set. Last one, zip up. And then after your last one, I'll just do one more. I don't know where you might be at though. Let's do one more. Lower it down. And then just release the head and draw the arms all the way back down. Just let the neck release. Just a couple of times. And bringing yourself nicely back to center. We're going to just do a little bit of bridge work now, because again, this is very good for our pelvic floor, really good for the hips as well. So we did this sort of spine curl movement where we tuck the tailbone, feeling the whole spine lift. With the bridge, we don't do the tuck. We simply squeeze the bottom and push those hips up. So the legs don't want to be too far away and they don't want to be too close. I want you to be feeling it in the bottom. So just holding your bridge here and then lower with control before squeezing back up. We lower, squeeze, lower, squeeze. Two more, squeeze. Last one, squeeze. Release your pelvis down and then let it relax. Just let it loosen out. So that was the bridge. We're going to do another bridge, but this time we're going to add some knee openings that we did earlier. So it's quite strong on the stability. So if that's too much for you, you can just carry on doing normal knee drops with your spine down. Otherwise, arms down by the side. I'm going to take a breath in, and as you exhale, I want you to push those hips, squeezing your bottom and just holding this position here. Now taking your right thigh bone, just rolling it out to the side, keep your pelvis high and level and close it back in. Other side, so you're opening and you're closing, and then roll your spine back down and release the pelvis. That felt okay. We're going to do the set again. So we exhale, squeeze, soften those ribs down. Let's go with the left this time. So opening that left knee, rolling the thigh out, closing. Keep squeezing the bottom. Going to the other side and close. Breathe in and release yourself all the way back down and just relax that pelvis. Well done. So let's just take both legs out, away from the body. And just point and flex the feet. And just circle those ankles. And then reach those arms all the way up. Just let the whole body go. Just taking a nice deep breath. Let the ribs pop, even though I'm constantly telling you to keep them down in the mat. Just let everything go. Just let everything feel nice. The whole body stretch. And then take the arms all the way back down by the side of the body. And bend those knees in. And I'd like us to do a little bit of extension because it's really, really good for the spine. So just carefully rolling over onto one side. And then if this is okay for you, we're going to roll onto our tummies. So prone position is particularly good for our pelvic floor because whilst we're lying here, you might want a little cushion for your forehead. But whilst we're lying here, we're going to have our feet, we're going to have them together. We're going to do a movement called the dart. So the toes are together. Squeeze the thighs together and then just let them relax for a moment. And the arms are going to come down by the side of the body. So it might just be worth watching me for a moment. So palms are up. So already I want you to have a scoop in your belly, thinking about zipping up those abdominals and feeling the weight of your pubic bone. And what we do is we slide our nose along like we're pushing a little ball in front of us. And then I'm squeezing my thighs, my heels, my bottom, just lifting the arms very gently, hovering. Turn the palms like you're a figurehead on a ship. So keep lifting through those abdominals and then just let everything relax. I'll show you again. We take a little breath in. As we exhale, we squeeze, we wrap, we lift, scoop the belly. We're keeping the chin. We don't want to sort of stick. We're keeping everything like you've got a sellotape on the back of your neck. And then release. Now, if this feels okay, if this is too much for you, you can come into something called the diamond press, which is legs a bit wider, shoulders down the back. And we can do something like this, which is a lot more gentle. Let's just do this. So we're wrapping, we're squeezing, scoop through that belly, shining that breastbone, and releasing back down. Last one. Breath in, breath out. Squeezing everything. Keep scooping through that belly. I don't want you feeling this through the lower back. And then release. And relax. Take your hands up. Open the feet. Gently push yourself into a nice child's pose. Release the spine. Just take a little moment here. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And then we're going to just walk our left hand slightly out, placing our right hand on top. And just let yourself breathe into that right rib cage. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in. And then gently walking your hands to center, going over to the other side. So left hand comes onto right. Lower the head, breathing into that left rib cage. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in. And then walk your hands back to center, where you can just carefully roll your spine back up. Just sitting tall. Lovely. So we're going to just end on some nice zigzags. So if you're using a mat and it's a little bit grippy, you might just want to get your mat out the way. And if you are, if you do enjoy Pilates, and it might even be worth getting in some sort of block, I find that they're very good to sit on. They really help open the hips up. So I like to sit on one, or a cookbook. Sometimes a cookbook, a thick one is quite good as well. But I want you to just sort of sit like into your hands. So the knees are bent. The feet, soles of the feet are together. Reasonable distance, about halfway from fully extended to too close. So just leaning back into your wrists if that feels okay. And I want you to just push the feet away. Sorry that they've gone off the screen. Let me go back a little bit so you can see me a bit better. So we're going to do this. So we're going to push the feet away, let the toes roll in towards each other, and then drag the heels back. So we open, push, rotate, come back. So it's very good opening from our hips. Keep your chest nice and lifted so we're not collapsing into the shoulders. Just breathing in and breathing out. And then we're going to reverse it. Knees come together, push away, open. So we've still got that little connection through our tummy. So we're not just collapsing. Last one. And then just bring those feet back towards the body. Just come over your knees. Just take a little breath in here. And then we're going to just end in a couple of seated movements. So sitting in any way that feels comfortable. So whether that's cross-legged or into a nice long frog. Just sitting up as tall as you can. So we try not to collapse. So if you find that when you sit down, you're really collapsed, this is when we sitting up on a block is good. If you don't have a block and you're feeling a bit collapsed, you can just come onto your knees. It might be a little bit nicer, a little bit easier. So from here, We're going to just take those arms all the way up again and all the way down. Breathing in, breathing out. And then on the next one, we're going to breathe in, bring the palms of the hands together, and then just lower your hands into your chest. Relax those shoulders. Take a breath in here. And then bring the palms, the backs of the hands together, lower those elbows, feel a little bit of a stretch. Breathe in. And then coming back into the prayer, lift your elbows up this time. Reach up and float down. Good. Just roll those shoulders. And then just ending on a nice shoulder shrug. Breathe in. Release. Breathe in. Release. Last one. Breathe in, placing them down the rib cage, sitting tall. This is where I leave you tonight, Frances. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. Nice and one-on-one. Have a lovely evening. I might see you next week. Any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. Otherwise, have a great week. Take care. Thank you so much. Thank you.